Okay, we back. Sorry about that. Phone's charging here. 2%. Gotta keep this alive here. We gotta keep this alive. And then no one's in here to hear me speak. I'm gonna try to get some friends in here. Yeah, because I kind of glitched out there. Well, I didn't glitch out, my phone died. But yeah. Fully, this chart, like, it's not going up. Like, it is not going up. That is not going up. That is dead. That is dead. Oh. Okay. Just gonna wait. Just gonna wait to get on the other brothers live. Okay, I'm just waiting. Right now, I'm just waiting. Just waiting to get on another brother's live stream to continue our discussion. So basically, we were discussing child marriage in Islam. We were trying to get to the bottom of it and determine if it's halal. And we got to a point and then my phone died, so then I cut off. So I'm just waiting for him. Honestly, I might just join his live. Y'all probably just... I'm gonna just join his live. Hey, what's up? Okay, accept.
Oh, you made me wait.
Hey, man. Sorry about that. My phone died. So then I had to switch my tablet and then wait for my phone to charge up so then I can hotspot my tablet. But, like, can you hear me and everything?
Are you on your phone?
No, like, I'm on my tablet, but I just had to wait for my phone to charge so then I can, like, hotspot my tablet. But yeah, sorry about that.
Okay. You want to continue or?
Yeah, I kind of remember where we're at. You're asking me, like, why is it bad for a child to have intercourse?
No, I asked that earlier.
Yeah. I think that's, like, when, like, I was explaining that to my phone died.
Yeah.
Like, I think
So
that's where we're at.
You're saying that it won't, the child won't understand, it's going to harm them mentally, right?
Yeah, like, they can't understand the ramifications fully because they don't have that long-term, like, the long-term decision-making isn't fully developed or it's even fully formed, so they can't actually understand the ramifications.
Okay. And the reason why I believe it's harmful and wrong is because it harms the child both mentally and physically, psychologically, of course, because they're going to be traumatized by the pain. You agree with that, right?
Yeah. Well, like, I believe they'd be traumatized by more than just the pain.
Yeah, the pain and the idea of it, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I asked you earlier, can a child handle a man? You told me no. A child cannot handle a man.
I said someone who isn't aware can't handle a man. A child that's not aware,
No.
I said
I
unaware
asked that
child.
earlier. I asked, can a child handle a man? You said
and
no.
I said, in reference to a child being, because I verbatim said, like, we can run the tape back. I said a child can cook, clean, and handle a relationship with a man if they are self-aware, but if they're not self-aware, a child can't.
Now you're changing what you said.
That's what I said.
I asked you a simple question. I asked you, can a child handle a man? You said no.
That's a false dichotomy then, because that's actually using a false premise. What I did when I asked you, does Islam allow 9-year-olds to be married? That's not a false dichotomy because I didn't use a false premise.
False dichotomy is when you're forcing the person to answer it with two options. You yourself said no.
It's not. No, that's not what a false dichotomy is. A false dichotomy is when you're putting forth a question that has a false premise. That's what it says. A false dichotomy, also referred to as a false dilemma or a false dichotomy or a false binary, is an informal fallacy based on a premise that is erroneously limits the options that are available. I didn't erroneously limit the options. I didn't give a false premise. You saying, can a child handle a man? That is erroneously equivocating what I believe for child and what Islam teaches as child, and then trying to make an argument from that's a false dichotomy.
No, no,
What
no, no,
I did
that's
when
not
I
a
asked
false
you,
dichotomy. Now, firstly, no.
yes,
My
it is.
question is very
That's literally
simple.
what it is right here. That's literally
No,
the
firstly,
definition of
I'm
a
not
false
saying that's not
dichotomy
a
that I
false
gave.
dichotomy. I'm saying I'm not doing a false dichotomy. I'm not doing a
Yes,
false
you are.
dichotomy. My
You're
question is very simple.
erroneously.
And are you
Yes,
gonna let
you're
me speak?
erroneously
Are you gonna let
asking
me
me.
speak or what? Are you gonna let me speak?
I'm explaining why it's
I'm
an
the one who's
erroneous
speaking. I
premise.
mean, the
I'm
thing is,
giving you why it's an
I
erroneous
noticed that
premise.
you've been speaking over me the whole time. The whole time, every time I speak, you want to say something, you just speak it over. You speak over me. Like it happens way too many times, and you don't. For some reason, you don't know how to stop. Okay,
I'm letting you
so
speak.
now you are, mashallah. Now I'm saying that that is a false dichotomy, and I'm not doing a false dichotomy. Firstly, my question is very, very simple.
Okay, so
Okay, I
explain how
said,
your question is not.
look, this is a beautiful example. This is a beautiful example of you speaking over me, and
I just said explain how
exact,
your question is not.
yeah, and I was
Explain how your
speaking,
question is not a false
correct?
dichotomy. My thing.
This guy, bro. This guy freezes all the time.
Oh my, that was so dumb. That was so dumb. Okay, we gotta do it again. Yeah, my internet is not good in my car. Well, I'm using my data, but I don't know why it's doing that. I think it's just my tablet. Like, my tablet's actually just bad. My tablet's just bad and my phone's about to die. I gotta get a new phone because my phone dies, like TikTok drains my battery. Like, I was at like 80%. I was at like 80% at the start of the live stream, and then like it drained it. It completely drained it. I didn't even notice. Yeah, like I just got bad battery life. So hopefully this brother.
Like, bro, at this point,
About that again. Sorry about that again.
okay.
So you're
Now,
explaining the question.
yes, I was explaining the question. I was saying my question is so simple and easy, and it connects to what I am stating. You say that a child cannot have intercourse. I completely agree with you. You're saying that Islam supports children being what? Being entered. Okay. One of the requirements is what is that they must handle a man. I asked you, can a child handle a man? You said no. So we can conclude, let me finish. We can conclude that you, according to what you just said, believe that Islam does not allow the entering of children. Go ahead.
But that's what I believe. It doesn't matter what I believe. It matters what Islamic jurisprudence and judges and people that actually have authority in Islam believe. And as I showed, people like Nawawi, people like, they all say that 9-year-olds, they can handle a man. They assert that they can handle a man. So it doesn't matter what I think, because of course I'm going to say children can't do any of that. They shouldn't be doing any of that. That's what I believe due to things that are external from Islam. But I'm saying from a completely self-contained worldview, why would you come to the conclusion that you cannot enter children when that is the consistent Islamic jurisprudence for 1400 years?
Okay. You said that Islam permits the entering of children, and you said, one second.
Yes, Islamically children. Like Islam, my definition of children, Islam allows that. Because Islam's definition of child and my definition of child contradict. They conflict. They're conflicting things.
Yeah, I'm back. So you stated that Islam supports child entering. Now I'm gonna ask you a very simple question to connect to what my final answer is gonna be for what you've asked and what your whole point is, right? Now, can a woman who is 50 years old, who is weak, can they be entered? Yes or no?
What do you mean by weak?
As in they are physically not ready. Not ready, but they've been physically ready, and then they went back
Like
to physically not being
intercourse
physically
would
ready.
harm them? Like intercourse would harm them?
Harm them, yes.
Then no, I don't think that they should partake in intercourse.
And do you think Islam agrees with that too?
I don't really care about that aspect because what I'm
I'm
saying is
asking, does
that they
Islam agree with it?
Islam probably wouldn't allow that either.
Beautiful. Now, let's say there is an 18-year-old, okay, who has menstruated. But here comes the question. They are simply not functioning properly. Can they be entered?
If they choose to, then I have no means of restricting their bodily autonomy.
An 18-year-old that is not functioning properly, like
Yeah, well, like
mentally.
in the mind, mentally, then no, because like they wouldn't have the cognitive awareness. Like say
Who
like
said they have?
someone.
No, no, wait. Wait, who said
No, I
that
said
they
they
were not
wouldn't have the cognitive
cognitively aware?
awareness.
Wait,
Like
why
yeah, if
do you
they aren't
agree?
cognitively aware. Like
Wait,
say
wait,
if
wait,
it's
wait, wait.
someone that has like an extreme mental deficiency, because like there's a lot of like extreme forms of autism. It's basically like a 2-year-old and like a 20-year-old body. Like that's what a
Not
lot of
okay. What about minor autism?
like minor, like I'm low-key minorly autistic. Like I would think that that's fine. Like I
When
like
on
if it's
earth,
like
who
high
on earth
functioning
told you you
autism.
were minorly autistic?
No, that's just a joke. Like I mean like because like there is high
Wait,
functioning
why are you
autistic
joking about
autistic
autism?
people.
Why are you joking about autism?
You just said what if they're minorly autistic?
Yes,
So if they're minorly
being
autistic, yeah, they would still have the cognitive ability to consent.
okay. So you're saying someone who has mental, uh, like, weak mental capabilities can consent.
If that's a straw man. I said people that have high functioning autism or minor forms of autism, they would be able to consent. I didn't say people that are weak have weak cognitive ability. Do you know what autism is? Maybe you should use a different example. Are you trying to say that someone who is not cognitively strong but is at the age of 18 can they consent? No, I wouldn't think that they can consent
Why?
because their cognitive ability is that of before of even before a child. There's people that
Mhm.
are 18, but their cognitive ability is like that of a 4-year-old. They wouldn't be able to consent.
Okay. Now, what is the difference between a person who has minor autism and a 9-year-old who's physically and mentally mature? Go
Person,
ahead. Mentally,
a person with
and who has
minor
who
autism,
has
a person
mental
with
others.
minor
Wait, one
autism
second,
has
one second,
actually
one second,
experienced
just one second.
twice the amount of
Just one
life.
second. I'm not done my question. I'm not done my question.
Okay.
And so what's the difference between minor autism adult and a 9-year-old who is mentally and physically mature, and that adult
Well,
which
what
we're
is mentally
comparing?
mature? What do you mean by mentally mature in that 9-year-old?
Are you okay? Let me. Can I finish?
Yes, I'm just
Okay.
I wanted the question to be crystal clear.
Okay. If I don't you don't let me speak, then you wouldn't be able to let me
Well, I was just asking
explain.
more questions.
Okay. Anyways, my question is very simple. Okay. What is the difference between a person who has minor autism, but you said that they can consent, right? That means they are still they are self-aware. They know what they're doing. That they understand their actions, correct? But they have
Yeah,
some
someone with
weakness
minor
on it.
autism is still aware.
But they have some weakness on it. Some weakness. When I say one weakness, I don't mean incredible weakness. I'm saying they have some weakness in it. You understand what I mean? When I
Yes.
say okay, and you agree upon that, right?
Well, depends on the degree of that weakness that you're saying. But yes, I would agree that they are still weak in some aspects, but they're also really strong in others.
Okay.
That's what
Now my
autism is.
question. Okay. Now compare that person to a 9-year-old who is mentally mature, meaning what? Meaning they understand what they're doing, they know what they're doing, right? And they're physically mature, means that they are not small, okay? And they are not weak, okay? So that's my question. Compare them both. Go ahead.
That is by definition a false dichotomy. You're erroneously asserting a premise. I don't agree that a 9-year-old is ever mentally ready enough to engage in intercourse or consent. A 9-year-old
Even
will
if they hit
always
puberty?
infinitely be
Even
more
if they hit
less.
puberty?
Yeah, even if they hit puberty, they're 9 years old. A 9-year-old, a 9-year-old does not have the cognitive. Puberty doesn't affect the ability
Okay,
to
wait,
actually
pause.
process.
Theoretically, let's say there is theoretically a 9-year-old. I completely agree with you, by the way. But let's say theoretically there is a 9-year-old. Theoretically.
Let's say theoretic. I can't even speak today. Let's say that maybe there is a baby that is physically capable mentally, but that's not. I don't believe that's possible. So that's an irrelevant
So
question.
it's impossible. It's completely impossible. It can never happen even once.
A 9-year-old cannot consent. No, a 9-year-old cannot
No,
consent.
that's not my question. That's not my question. My question, I'm asking, is it possible for a 9-year-old to be mentally mature, physically mature, right?
Those are all
And
spectrums. Those are all spectrums. How mentally mature? How
exactly. Let me
physically mature?
finish, bro. Let me finish. I'm gonna say what I mean by mentally mature. Mentally mature, as in they know what they're doing, they understand their actions, and physically mature. That means they're not small. They are almost or at adult size, and
And
they are not weak.
again, being able to understand your actions, that's a spectrum. Being able to understand the long-term ramifications of your actions is completely different than understanding your actions. I've already explained how children can consent to things that they don't understand the long-term effects of and then regret it later. I gave the example of 9-year-olds watching porn, watching violent movies, watching other things that they wanted to do in the moment. But say if they watched a horror movie, then they got nightmares at night, then they regret the decision because they have now induced trauma on themselves with their own consent. That's what I'm trying to get at. Children don't understand the long-term ramifications.
Okay. Again, I'm saying theoretically. I completely agree with you. Today, 9-year-olds is almost very, very, very rare for such a thing
Yeah, no,
to
you're
happen.
saying almost. You're saying almost very rarely. That's the issue that I have. You're saying that
No, when I say
Islamically,
very
a
rare, I mean it's
9-year-old could
also
meet that
impossible. I
standard.
completely agree with you. But what we're stating is, what if there is one?
No,
What
okay.
if
That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. If
no,
there
it
is one,
is
because like
relevant.
now I
That's what
want to,
we're saying.
because you say that it's impossible. Is that a consensus among Islamic scholars today that 9-year-olds cannot be married? If I go to
Yes.
Saudi Arabia, if I go to Qatar, if I go to Turkey, if I go to Iraq, if I go to all these places, will 8-year-olds not be getting married?
Married or entered? Which one?
Married and entered. But
No. We're talking about entered.
marriage
We're
is
talking about
different because even marriage
yes.
that has negative ramifications. A child agreeing to a lifelong covenant with a man, that's
We would
crazy.
talk
But
about
we can talk about
marriage later
entering
on.
now.
We're talking about
Yeah, we can
consummation.
just
We're
talk
talking
about
about
entering.
consummation.
We can just talk about
Yes,
entering
we're talking about
because
entering right now.
in Islamic nations like Sudan, like South Sudan, Mauritania, all throughout the Sahara Desert, all those nations in the Sahara Desert, a lot of communities in Nigeria, they use these Islamic scholars to allow prepubescent entering. So like this might
I
just be
promise you, like I said,
might be your sect of Islam that now has like reformed and said 9-year-olds can't. But the thing is that the Islamic consensus for 1400 years has affected a lot of these nations that now have high rates of fistula, high rates of infant mortality, high rates of this, and that due to the fact that they look to the scholars saying that a 9-year-old can consummate a marriage, and they don't think like you do. They don't think like you and I, and then realize, oh, a child can't, they'll be harmed because we have now realized and technology has advanced, research has discovered that this harms a child in X, Y, and Z ways. They don't have that same access to information. They don't have that same access to doctors to tell them. And that's why it leads to Islamic nations like South Sudan, even in Egypt. I'm pretty sure Algeria, Libya, all these countries have abnormal high rates of fitsua, Pakistan as well. So
Okay,
that's your Islam. That's how you interpret Islam.
that's
But
not how I interpret. That's how scholars do.
But the people that are looking at the exact same scholars of you, but don't have the same access to Western information, like sociological studies, psychological studies, biological studies, they don't have access to those information, then they cannot then come to the same conclusion that this is bad based on looking at the same scholars. Do you see what I'm trying to say? You guys looking at the same scholars, but you have different exterior information, and so you come to different conclusions.
Anyways, are you done?
Yes.
Okay. So you said that they don't think like you and who? I.
Me and you.
So you're saying we have similar, wait, pause. You said that we have similar beliefs. This is what you're saying. That's what you mean. Correct?
Yes. In the fact that a 9-year-old, like as you said, a 9-year-old today, it's impossible.
Okay. Now, firstly, I'm gonna be honest, right? I do study Islamic stuff with some scholars, and one of the main things, and I am very into it, is this topic, right? Now, not even most, all of the scholars that I've spoken to, which have studied in Medina and have studied all of the 4 madhabs, why am I saying almost? I'm too used to it. All of them agree upon that today there isn't a 9-year-old who is literally mentally or physically ready. The whole point, this is a main thing you need to understand in fiqh. Fiqh, which is jurisprudence, by the way. The whole point, these scholars are saying a what if. For example, let me give you an example. There are scholars who say, what if someone is about to do adultery? They say, okay, this person should do this, and that, but they shouldn't even do adultery. They're saying here a what if, and this is what's happening right now. They're saying, what if there was a 9-year-old who is physically and mentally mature, and they already had a contract marriage, and they're about to be ready for intercourse or whatever, right? This is what if they're saying, right? If you go to any great scholar of today, right, they will say no. A 9-year-old today is very, very, very different than what was earlier. Therefore, according to Islamic ruling, they should wait more. They never said at the age of 9 you need to. They said that if you are
obviously,
ready, and this is a what if. This is a what if question. They're not saying at the age of 9 exactly. Okay.
What I'm trying to say is that Islamic nations like South Sudan, they are reading the same scholars of you, but they don't have access to the modern scholars that study in Medina, that study in Mecca, that live in Iraq, in Syria.
Can you name one?
What?
Can you name one South Sudanese scholar that says that you can enter a child?
No, I'm looking at the law and the practice. I'm not talking about. I'm looking about how this is applied, the real world ramifications of these.
Okay, but can you name one so I can know who you're talking about? Can you name one?
I'm talking about the actual practices of the people. Like
but look at the
average
Islamic
age.
That's culture. I disagree. No. If they say that's Islamic, if there is a scholar there. If there was a scholar there that said that's Islamic, then I would say no, it's not, and I would debate him.
Yeah, I know.
But there isn't. You need to prove. You're doing an argument of science.
You're not understanding my point. You're not understanding my point.
Arguments of science.
No, you're not understanding my point. I'm saying the people who read the same books as you come to a different conclusion due to a lack of information.
Okay. Do you want me to respond?
Yes.
Okay. You right now, and please don't speak after I say it, or making an argument of silence. You're saying because a group of people have done this, therefore they have a scholar that told them this and that,
No, I
and
didn't say they have a
therefore
scholar. I did not say they have a scholar. I'm saying that they read the same scholarly works from the past that are
okay, are they
talking about
scholars?
9-year-olds in the past. I'm talking about if they read Nawawi, they read these hadith collections, they read these hadith commentary, they read these the Quran, they read these. I'm not saying they have a modern scholar like an imam saying you can do X, Y, because a lot of these rural places in Somalia, in Sudan, they don't have cultural leaders in the sense that you and I do. They don't have a central figure that they get authority from. They don't have that. So they have a lack of information, and they can only go off of books like the Quran, Hadith, and then early Islamic commentary. They can only go off of those. And then they come to
Okay.
different conclusions.
Okay, and can you show your evidence for that?
Evidence for what? Like evidence for them
For
practicing
firstly,
it, or the
okay,
lack of.
okay, I'll respond. I'll respond. Firstly, I want you later on after I'm done speaking to show evidence for what you've just stated about them, a group of people who take a group of people who take the same scholarly works that I have shown you and take it differently. That's what I want you. And now I'm going to answer to what you just said. What you said was that there's a group of people that are not scholars, which I don't really care if they're not scholars. If they are quote unquote scholars, then I will bring my scholars to speak to them and debate on the matter. But I am telling you right now that there is no difference of opinion of this day and age right now. No difference of opinion of scholars, not random people, not a random little boy or maybe a grown man or a very old man. No, scholars who have studied Islamic jurisprudence, they have said that they have not a difference of opinion that there is no 9-year-old of today that does do it. A matter of fact, if you ask any scholar you see in your masjid, they will say no, that wouldn't happen today because it's changed, and the Islamic ruling still is in place. Like I said earlier, the Islamic ruling is still in place. They're saying, what if there is? Okay, but no, right now there isn't. It's very, very rare. So you wait until they grow up. Okay, now I'm done speaking. Answer my question, please.
You still didn't grasp my. I'm saying the real world ramifications of these Islamic texts. Without modern scholarly interpretation, people can come to these conclusions. Do you not see? Do you agree that if I were to read Nawawi, all of his stuff, without the knowledge that prepubescent, like if I had no knowledge in the world, I were to just read Quranic text, commentary on the Quran, and Hadith commentary, would I be able to come to the conclusion that today I can have sex with a 9-year-old without any modern interpretation or external sources that says that sex is harmful to children? Would I be able to come to that conclusion I can have sex with a 9-year-old today?
Okay. So you're asking me if a person without knowledge, right? Without knowledge on
Yes,
they have
without
not
knowledge.
studied Islam. Most likely they would be lost.
Okay, honestly, that's irrelevant. I just want to move on to the next point because I have fatwas, like modern fatwas.
Okay, wait for
that
1 second. Just 1 second. Just 1 second. Just 1 second. Give me like 5 minutes. I need to do something. I'll be right back.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. I just need to pull this up. You're saying that can literally happen with any holy scripture, then why if cultures that only have the Bible today, if they read it, they wouldn't come to a conclusion that they can bang a prepubescent girl? Because it says verses like past the flower of her age. It says things like, oh, like even biggest bright hater, even you admit, like in my comments multiple times, that Ezekiel 16:7 is about the onset of puberty. It is not about the end of puberty like you assert. Even if they don't interpret it the same way as me, they wouldn't come to a conclusion that they can sleep with a prepubescent girl. as you yourself say, it's the onset of puberty. All him to Allah. In the Bible, people say LGBTQ is allowed. Some say no. That's not addressing my argument. That's not addressing my argument because he admitted that in the past sleeping with a 9-year-old was allowed, but today 9-year-olds have changed. No, it's not about Islam. Like, get on the live stream about Islam. Get on the live stream. What if they wouldn't come to the conclusion that they can sleep with a 9-year-old under the old covenant? And Jews still think they're under the old covenant. So go talk to the Jews about that. Like, if I were to read the old covenant without knowledge, I wouldn't come to a conclusion that I can marry and sleep with a 9-year-old. Or a prepubescent girl, however you want to put it. That wouldn't be a conclusion I come to. Nothing else to ask me? Like, if I read the old covenant, I wouldn't be able to come to that conclusion. I wouldn't. I simply would not be able to come to that conclusion. What do you mean, back up my claims? I am. Like, oh my gosh, we've had buddy, what do you want me to back up? Like, I can't read your name because I don't speak Arabic, but what do you want me to back up? You want me to back up? What do you want me to back up? That the scholars have come to a conclusion that you can sleep with a 9-year-old, and that if I only read, like, say, Sarah Muslim, like, say if I don't know, like, if I read Sarah Sahih Muslim, the commentary on the hadith commentary, if I read that in isolation without knowledge that it hurts children, I would come to a conclusion I can sleep with a 9-year-old. And that's what we see in many societies. They use Islamic justifications.
And can you prove that?
What?
Can you bring evidence for that?
The Muslim majority nations using Muslim justifications.
Yes, to do pedophilia. Can you bring evidence for that?
What, like a man marrying an 8-year-old and then entering her?
No. You said they're using it to justify it. Can you bring evidence for that?
They don't. When I say that, I just mean they read it and then they think that they're allowed to do it. I don't mean that they're saying this exact hadith commentary allowed me to do this. They are reading Islamic commentary and Islamic jurisprudence and then coming to this conclusion without the modern interpretation, without modern scholars. But I do kind of just want to change gears. So I was just addressing the people in the comments.
Okay.
Because
okay,
you said modern scholars. So modern scholars don't agree with consummating prepubescent marriage.
They never. When did I say that? I never said that.
Yeah, you said that they don't agree with it. They don't allow prepubescent consummation.
I said no. Okay,
clarify what you said.
Okay, I dare. Under 1 second, I challenge you. This is not a debate, by the way. Just bring me a recording where I said that. Now I'm gonna clarify.
No, I'm sorry. Like I just misremembered maybe because just clarify what you meant. Like, do modern Islamic scholars say that you cannot consummate with a prepubescent girl?
Ooh. Anyways, so they, like I said earlier, I'm gonna clarify everything I said. I stated that they're doing a what if of today. They're doing what if, right? For example, I gave you an example. What if a man were to do adultery? Then the scholars have said,
it's a regulation. It's like, you know, I understand that because I understand the argument. I make the argument a lot with like.
Okay, just 1 second. Let me.
It's a regulation. It's not a promotion. They regulate something, but they're not promoting it.
Can I just finish?
Well, I'm just trying to I'm just trying to understand your point. Is it a regulation, not a promotion?
Okay, if you let me finish, then you'll probably understand.
Okay.
Okay, I said that they're doing a what if, right? For example, in jurisprudence, there is, I'm not gonna lie, there is a statement, where it was they made a what if. The what if statement was, what if a man is about to do adultery? Some said very random things because the man they're gonna do very random stuff. Some said he does it with a watermelon. Do you do it with a watermelon normally? No, you don't. Okay, so it's a what if question. It's a what if statement. What if so and so happened? Then you do this and that, right? It's very, 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 they're speaking about very, very rare scenarios because this is law. This is law. This is not a small thing. It's law. Okay? It's law. It's not to be taken as a small thing. That's why the scholars of today, they don't disagree. They're saying, what if? Now they say it as a what if, right? What if a child became physically mature and mentally mature at the age of 9 today? They said, okay, we will take that quote-unquote child that became physically mature and mentally mature at the age of 9 and make it and we find it permissible. But is it common? No. Okay,
they
it's
don't
not common.
think 9-year-olds today can reach that, right? They don't think
Exactly,
9-year-olds
they
can
don't.
reach that. Yeah. Okay, that's what I meant. That's what I meant when I said that. But I just kind of want to shift gears to like modern fatwas instead. Like, what can you
Go
do
ahead.
with your wife that isn't ready for intercourse, that isn't ready for the actual marital act? Can you do anything before that?
Like a child?
Well, like
Or
any woman that isn't capable. Like, say if like
isn't
any
capable.
age, like either child or even like say like a 15-year-old that isn't capable.
For a child, it's not allowed because Imam Shafi'i, like you said it yourself, even that he said, even if the person is trustable, you shouldn't give the child to him. For an old woman, let's say maybe the old woman, I mean, she knows maybe she can consent to it, so she can have maybe some fun, right? But it would be better to not do it.
Okay. So you don't hand them over, but what about? Because I have some fatwas that they're dated pretty recently. They're modern fatwas from like Islam Web. They have many fatwas that are given, and one says I can just pull this one up here.
Okay.
I don't know if this camera's
And
good
where's
though.
the
I don't know
website
if
from?
it's Islam Web. I can give you they got the links
Islam
there
Web?
too. The links there.
Okay.
So it says that if they are not ready, say before they are ready for actual intercourse, you can do things to them, like fondle them.
Okay, and is it speaking about children or is it speaking about all?
It's speaking about well, it says the like young age. It uses the like I don't know how to pronounce it, but like al shakhaga, like this word, which usually means like which usually means like immature or like young. So it says young girls who like aren't able to engage in it, you can fondle them.
Can I see the Arabic?
Yeah, right here. I don't know if you can like. Is that clear? Like my camera's kind of bad. That's the thing. The camera's not the best. So this thing's like pretty cheap. Yeah, it's not.
The words I can't see the Arabic. Can you just give me like the link maybe?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to DM it to you. I'll
if
like,
you can,
this,
tell me
crap.
tell me what the statement is. Like if you can just go very, very close to like 4 Arabic words, I can find it. And he disconnected maybe. Allahu Alam. Oh, okay. Perfect.
That's the thing. Like
perfect. فإذا That's perfect. I can read it. فإذا no, go back.
I just want to address this one guy in the comments quickly. I'm not saying that this is authoritative. Oh, sorry.
Just 1 second. You just go back.
Which one was it? Oh,
Authoritative was literally was the next thing I was about to say, but it doesn't matter.
I'm trying.
كانت
Yeah, like I'm not trying to say that this is authoritative. I'm not trying to say this is authoritative
الفتاة
to you guys. I'm just saying that this and even modern Muslim students do have a lot of authority over
Can you go
people.
to the left a bit?
Yeah. Again, I'm sorry about the lag. Like my iPad, this iPad is like not good. It's pretty old.
Okay, go to the left a tiny bit. Can you, what does it say? Can you go left a tiny more? Hmm. Oh! I thought it was like it's not. That's not Islam Web, by the way. It's not Islam Web. That's a fatwa
Well,
book.
that's where I got it from. Yeah, it's a fat,
Yeah,
but like
that's a fatwa book.
I
That's
don't
a
have
fatwa book.
access to these books.
Yeah, you should have just told me. I can find it even easier. I was gonna Google and go through thousands of websites, but no, I can find it easily. Okay. Okay. Unknown. It's from مجموعة Allah. It's from many scholars. Like it's just a compilation